Hi everyone, my name is Richard Santoro and I welcome you to Third and Zen, the YouTube channel where every week I'm sharing a spiritual message to nourish ourselves, heart, mind, body, and soul. First, as always, thank you so much for stopping by the channel. I really do appreciate it. People pop in, they check out these videos, and it just makes me happy and it makes me grateful and it brings me joy, and I thank you. I thank you for that. I do hope that you're doing well. As always, I really hope that you remember every moment throughout your day that you are worthy of love, of care, of patience, of understanding, of whatever it needs to be going into caring for yourself, heart, mind, body, and soul. Please don't forget that. Thank you. Again, thanks for being here. Okay, let's all take a nice deep breath. Take a moment, just be still, just prepare ourselves in whatever way we're comfortable with. And then we're going to jump right in. And let's get started with today's message, shall we? The hymn Kum Ba Yah. Have it right here. I made that. I love it. I love this hymn. The hymn Kum Ba Yah has always been one of my favorites. Kum Ba Yah, my Lord. Kum Ba Yah. Kum Ba Yah, my Lord. Kum Ba Yah. Kum Ba Yah, my Lord. Kum Ba Yah. O Lord, Kum Ba Yah. Kum Ba Yah believed to mean come by here, as in come by here, Lord. Please come with us. Come be here among us. You know, growing up in the 1970s, I was blessed to be a part of a church and a vibe and a culture where whether it was at church itself or going away on church retreats for the weekend. 70s, it was the vibe of campfires and guitars and people gathered and singing folk songs and hymns, and Kum Ba Yah was right there at the heart of it, and that's part of why I've loved it. But even more than just that, I've loved it throughout all the years. I've always used it a lot in church, in various forms of worship. It's just perfect. I would use it during worship service sometimes after we would ask for people if they had prayers of joy, prayers of concern. I'd use that as a nice follow-up to those prayers. Someone's praying, Lord, Kum Ba Yah. Someone's crying, Lord, Kum Ba Yah. Someone needs you, Lord, Kum Ba Yah. It's actually really easy to sing and sound decent and get a wonderful vibe with it. Whether it's, you could have 2 or 3 of the worst singers, myself included in that, and this hymn can make us sound good. It just works so well. I remember once, I used to do a Friday evening prayer service at church, a prayer and meditation service, and it just so happened that one night that Friday prayer service was on the day of the tragedy of the Sandy Hook school shooting, and couldn't go into that prayer service just acting like business as usual. Obviously, it was a national tragedy of depths beyond understanding. And I do remember we sang that song, we sang that hymn, and it was so moving to sing it as our response, or part of our response to that tragic day. This hymn, it fills the void when we can't find the words to pray. It fills the void when we can't bring ourselves sometimes to even pray. It simplifies prayer. It simplifies fellowship with God. It simplifies trust. It simplifies love, peace, harmony, and fellowship. Someone needs you, Lord, Kum Ba Yah. It distills our connection with one another and with God to its essence, again, as individuals and as a community gathered. It breaks through all of the religiosity, the institutionalization of religion, of church, of all that. It breaks through all that. It breaks through the existential, the big, deep stuff. It breaks through the impediments that we have, that we can create or that exist as churches, as communities, as individuals gathered together, or just as an individual. It's a plea. It's a plea for peace, for love, for harmony, for fellowship, for care. It's moving. It's moving during worship. It's moving at least to me in private. It's moving by a campfire when gathered with people you love and respect and care for. There's no airs about this hymn. There's no BS. There's none of that. For me, it's just absolutely perfect. I love it. I love it to the depths and back. But there's an issue. I don't like that it has such a bad rap. I don't like that Kum Ba Yah, it's a punchline. It's a joke. It's a mockery. It's an insult. Oh, we're gonna get all Kum Ba Yah on us now? You know, I'm not a fan of that, and we're gonna talk about that. I even actually Googled Kum Ba Yah, and the online dictionary, several online dictionaries, give as the forefront definition. Let me read one. What does Kum Ba Yah mean? Kum Ba Yah, rooted in an American spiritual and folk song of the same name, Kum Ba Yah refers often disparagingly to moments of or efforts at harmony and unity. That's the definition I got from a dictionary. Folded into that is the fact that it's a mocking term, that it's used as a punchline, as a joke, as a disparaging way of making fun of people seeking for peace, harmony, unity, fellowship, love. But I'm here today to do my absolute best to take back the value and reputation and wonderful glory that is this hymn right here, Kum Ba Yah. But first, let's acknowledge a couple things. Let's talk about why this hymn has this defining punchline reputation among many, many people. First, there's two reasons. And I'd be remiss if I didn't acknowledge that, honestly, folks, I get it. I really do. I get part of the reason. I get actually both of the reasons I'm going to talk about. I truly and deeply and genuinely get why it's been connected in a mocking way. The first reason why this happens, in my view, my humble view, is the hypocrisy of Christians. The hypocrisy, historically, of people practicing Christianity. Now, I'm not saying Christianity as a whole. I'm saying people practicing Christianity. How Christianity has functioned via individuals or via the institutions of Christianity. We fall short of the perfection of Christ, of course, and that's okay, to be clear. But we often, as individuals and as a larger Christian community and Christian churches, not only fall short, but we can be and have been the antithesis of the model, example, and teachings of Jesus. We, as Christians, oftentimes can be the problem. We can be jerks, and worse, much, much worse. It exists now as much as it has historically over the last 2,000 years. From war, from Christians. I'm not just saying war in general. I'm saying from Christians doing what they believe are Christian things, or driven in certain ways. War and bloodshed and missionary efforts via subjugation and imperialism and colonialism and conquering and all that ugliness. From all that to anti-Semitic theology and anti-Semitism and Islamophobia and a plethora of various other forms of discrimination and bigotry and exclusion, to zealous nationalism and Christian tyranny in churches and in governing over everyone here in this country, in this society, and all over the world in various spots, and today and all throughout history. From all of that to just hatred, violence, judgment, unkindness, cruelty, unloving, unforgiving, condemning, brutal, ugly, terrible behavior. This has existed. It exists now, and it has existed throughout history, so I get it. And I'm not saying this to be judgmental or disparaging or condemning. I'm saying it because I get it, and we can't ignore it. I speak out about it often and have through the years, as many have and currently do. And just as Jesus did with the Pharisees, the Sadducees, the cultural, religious, political, and cultural leaders of his day, as well as to the regular, everyday people who needed to hear it. So again, I get it. As Christians, we can't ignore this. We can't. Folks will look at this hymn of peace, love, and all that and say, what about you all? You ain't all Kum Ba Yah, that's for sure. And they would be right. And oftentimes, way too often, they would be right. So we can't ignore that contemporary and ever-present in every moment in history elephant in the room. We can't. Christian individuals and institutions sure have often been and can be the most far thing from Kum Ba Yah. And again, my friends, this is not a condemnation on my part. It's just an objective fact that we can't ignore. And it's one reason why Kum Ba Yah is used as an insulting term and not seen really as the revered hymn and mindset and mantra of peace, love, harmony, and fellowship that many, myself obviously included, truly hold it to be. So that all was reason number one. Reason number two why people do often use Kum Ba Yah in a mocking and insulting way. Now that all of that stuff's out of the way, let's talk about reason number two. People can be mean and choose to mock efforts for peace, love, harmony, and fellowship. Plain and simple. Unkind, mean, or maybe perhaps just cynical, pessimistic. And I don't say any of that disparagingly or with judgment. For some people, life and experience have shaped and molded that attitude in them, that perception, that feeling in them, and I get it. I truly and genuinely empathize, understand, and get it. So for some people, it's easy to mock Kum Ba Yah. For some, it's challenging to hope and support efforts that promote peace, love, harmony, and fellowship with one another and with God, because thus far, that hasn't been their reality. That has not come to fruition. That has not been the case for people in individual lives, in group family circles and larger circles, and in society in general. And often just the opposite reigns in regular everyday lives and in the world around us. Just the opposite of peace, love, harmony, fellowship, and all that beautiful Kum Ba Yah stuff. And therefore, it's what? Are you going to be all Kum Ba Yah? Or yeah, so now we're everything's just going to be all Kum Ba Yah now, right? These ideas and concepts and attempts at peace, love, harmony, and fellowship, these Kum Ba Yah tenets are often seen as a fool's errand, worthy of mockery and disdain and of being a punchline. And I get that. I really do. It's hard for people to imagine that we can truly be the best version of the tenets of Kum Ba Yah when folks have not seen that to be the reality in their lives and in the world around us. So those are two reasons, and that last one, my friends, therein lies the solution. Therein lies the solution for how to shift Kum Ba Yah from mocking and a term of insult to better than that, to what it should be. Therein lies the solution, doesn't it? If folks, for one, look at many Christians and Christian churches and the history of Christianity and how it's practiced in this world and think, not very Kum Ba Yah, is it? And if folks, too, think that the efforts of achieving true peace, love, harmony, and fellowship of Kum Ba Yah in their lives and in the world around us, they look at that and think it's a fool's errand, worthy of punchline-esque mockery to the level that it's the literal definition of Kum Ba Yah in the dictionary. And all because it's hard for people to imagine that we can truly be the best version of the tenets of Kum Ba Yah when folks have not seen that to be the reality in their lives and in the world around us. Then quite simply, the solution to all of it is to make that a reality. Let's be clear. I'm not going to say, stop treating my beloved hymn as a punchline. Don't do that. No. No, I'm not going to do that. That's not how I personally, in this moment and going forward, plan on changing the gospel of Kum Ba Yah from a punchline and mockery to a reality of peace, love, harmony, and fellowship with each other and with God by complaining and saying, stop that. No. It's by doing my best and asking and encouraging all of us to do our best to make peace, love, harmony, and fellowship with each other and with God a reality for people. We can turn the cynicism and pessimism around with a reality of love via kindness. We can turn the past and present of Christian ugliness into a present of Christian love for all people. We can turn the perception of Kum Ba Yah and the striving for peace, love, harmony, and fellowship from a fool's errand worthy of mockery in some attitudes into an everyday reality for all people that we encounter, plain and simple. You know what I'd love to see? How this could work, honestly? How this hopefully ought to work? One of my other favorite hymns, also from the great campfire guitar playing days of the 1970s and all that, one of my other favorite hymns, they will know that we are Christians by our love. Yes, they will know we are Christians by our love, by our love. Another beauty of a hymn. It sounds great. It sounds wonderful. It's such a great campfire and church and just regular hymn. It moves the soul, and like Kum Ba Yah, it cuts through all the BS about being a Christian and about perceptions about that and impediments and ways that things get muddied, and it tells all of us how to do it by our love. Yeah, let's just do that. Let's just do that, right? If they know that we are Christians by our love, if we live that as individuals and as churches and groups of Christians and as those who function in our society as self-professing Christians, if we live by letting folks know that we are Christians by our active and proactive love and not all of that other ugly stuff that folks understandably associate with Christians and with people who practice Christianity, then the peace, love, harmony, and fellowship of Kum Ba Yah will not only cease to be a punchline and something that is mocked, but, and here is the great part, the benefit of all this, not just saving a hymn, the great part is that the peace, love, harmony, and fellowship of Kum Ba Yah will be an actual reality in the lives of people, of individuals, and in the world that we all share. So, call me idealistic. I've been called that before. Call me a fool on a fool's errand. But I was raised on the hymn and gospel of Kum Ba Yah. I was raised in believing in the best spirit of what Kum Ba Yah is all about. I was raised on believing in the peace, love, harmony, and fellowship of the gospel of Kum Ba Yah. And I know that we can do it. I know that we can show everyone that we are Christians by our love, and get people feeling better about Kum Ba Yah in the process. And I believe that when we sing, someone needs you, Lord, Kum Ba Yah, I believe that Jesus is right there with us. I believe that God is truly listening and among us. Kum Ba Yah, my Lord. O Lord, Kum Ba Yah. Thanks be to God. Amen. Okay, my friends, thank you again so much for stopping by the video. Thank you for stopping by the channel. Thank you for checking out the video. Thank you for you. I wish you nothing but peace, love, blessings, healing, comfort, whatever it is you might need in this moment and in your journey going forward. I pray and wish that for you and hope that for you. Either way, or in addition to that, thank you for being here. Go forward in peace. Go have a great day. Go have a great week. God bless you all. I love you all. Thank you so much. Ciao, ciao.